All right, hello, eighth graders. Welcome to Heart Academy for October 25th, 2016. Learn you will, teach I shall. Okay, so I decided I'm going to record the classwork for today and some of the homework because classes are at different phases of learning this material that I've placed upon you. And I decided I'm going to keep challenging you for the next couple of days with this extra stuff with geometry simply because I know you can. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go back and review questions 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 7, and 8, hopefully. Or maybe I'll just do the last 3. Okay, I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I'm just going to make sure that you have no more than 2 or 3 from each section to do for homework. So whatever's not completed will be homework. There we go. Okay? So I'm going to go back and redo number 1. So the point here, my friends, is that you need to find out what x equals. So remember, what you're going to do with this sheet is find the value of x and then the measure of each angle. Okay? So starting with number 1. Here's the thing. All right? You know you're not looking at a right angle, so you're looking at a straight line. Straight line equals how many degrees? 180. That's the first thing to do. That equals how many? Okay? Now you know that to get this started, I have this angle plus this angle plus this angle should equal 180. So that's all I'm going to do by writing the equation for that. This angle, which is just x, plus this angle, which is x minus 6, should equal 180. Now all I have to do is solve this multi-step equation. So if you remember from last year, I like to draw my street, this side of the street versus this side of the street. And the next thing I do is combine like terms. Like terms mean they have the same variable, okay? Here and here, variables are the letters, are like terms. So far you're just looking at x and x, but remember, there are visible ones in front of it, right? So let's make those ones appear. So if I combine these, what do I have? 1x plus 1x. Doesn't that just give me 2x? And then what I'm going to do now is bring everything else back down. Okay? So let me take one last look. Do I have any more like terms on this side? No. Do I have any like terms on this side? No. So now what I'm going to do is focus on getting x by itself. So I know what x equals. To do that, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the number that is not closest to the x. Okay? Which is going to be the negative 6. Why negative 6 and not 180? Because if I move the 180, I unbalance that equation. That's a sound familiar from my class last year. You don't want to take 180 out because then what happens is you uneven the seesaw, this side versus this side. So what I'm going to do is take out the 6. How do I take out the 6? By doing the opposite of what I see. Notice I see a negative 6. What's the opposite of negative 6? That's right, plus 6. So remember, if you plus 6 on this side of the street, you have to plus 6 on this side of the street. So basically you're adding 6 to both sides. Okay? So what happens is this. My 2x drops back down. I do the math here. Negative 6 plus 6. That's 0. So what happens is this canceled out all together, so I don't have to bring nothing down. And that was the point, my friends. I will bring my equal sign. Then I do this math. 180 plus 6. Well, that's 186, isn't it? Voila, there we are. But we are not done, are we? Nope, because x is still not by itself. So what do I do now to get x by itself? Let me draw my street again. I need to get rid of the 2. Now here's the thing. Anytime you have a number right next to a letter, it means multiply. Remember, to get rid of something, you have to do the opposite of what you see. So if this, with this right beside it means multiply, what's the opposite of multiplying? That's right, divide. So I will divide by 2, because that is the opposite of what I see. This is multiply, I'll divide. But remember, what you do to this side of the street, you must do to this side of the street. So this is what happens. If I divide this, 2 goes into 2 one time. So I just have 1x over here. But remember, in algebra land, 1s are invisible. So I just have x. And that was the point in the first place. And then I'll do the math that's over here. Doing the math over here, 2 will go into 186. Use your calculator. you'll notice it's 93 times. At least I hope it's 93 still. Let me use my calculator back up and check that work. Okay, so 186 divided by 2. Oh, look at that, 93. So x equals 93. All right, so that's just graph work, right? Now you know for this answer, the number 1, you know that x equals 93. So I'm going to put this here, x equals 93. So if this angle is x, guess how many degrees it is? Yeah, 93. And this angle is x minus 6, so really it's 93 minus 6 for this side. And what is our 93 minus 6? 87. Okay? So what I have here is this side of my this side of my 180 degrees is 93, and this side is 87. And here's how you know you're right. If you add this plus this, you should get this straight line, which is 180. And yes, my friends, 93 plus 87 is 180. So number 1 is complete. So now I'm going to go over to number 2. There we go. So number 2. First, figure out how many degrees is your largest angle. This is the largest angle. Oh, look at that. Creates a perfect L, which also means perfect square, which means perfect 90 degrees. So for my equation so far, I have 90. What I'm saying is this smaller angle and this angle should equal 90. So this smaller angle, which is 4x, plus this angle, which is just x, should equal 90 degrees. Now let's get to solving. I draw my street. I then try to combine like terms. Do you see like terms? I hope you do. You see 2 x's right here, don't you? Remember, that invisible 1 that's right here. Let's make it visible now. Right? And if I do the whole like term thing, I have 4x plus 1x. Let's combine those. Remember, combine means add. So all together on this side, I have 5x. That's it. And I bring down the rest. But remember, x is still not completely by itself, is it? What do I need to do to get x by itself? Divide by 5. How do I know I'm dividing? Because any number right next to a letter means multiply. And remember, to get rid of it, you need to do the opposite of what you see. So this means multiply. I'll divide. What I do to this side of the street, you must do to this side. Because what happens is, this is 1. 5 will go to 5 one time. 5 will go into 90. 18 times. 5 will go into 90 18 times. And just remember that 1s are invisible. So it really reads x equals 18. Okay? So now that I know that x is 18, that's what your answer is for here. X equals 18. Now you can find out how much this angle really is and how much this angle is. This one is easy. If this angle is just x, how much was it again? 18. If this is 4 times x, that's really 4 times 18. So how much is this angle? 4 times 18. 72. 72. Okay? And remember, all this should equal this 90 degrees. This angle plus this angle should equal 90 degrees. 72 plus 18, guess what, my friends? That is correct. 72 plus 18 is 90 degrees. So you are done with that one. Moving on. Number 3. All right. So number 3, what kind of angle are we looking at? It's not 90 degrees. 180. So, and I know what I'm looking at is this angle plus this angle should equal 180. So let's write that equation. This angle, which is 8, I'm going to give myself some more room here, which is 8x minus 1 plus this angle, which is plus this angle, 2x minus 9 equals 180. Not 18, 180. All right, so let's get to solving. If I do that, I'm going to draw my street, and I'm going to begin combining like terms. Remember, combining means what? That's right, combining means add. What are the like terms I have? Let me show you. Combine your x's. Like ex-girlfriends or boyfriends. All right. I have a positive 8x and a positive 2x. So if I combine, which means add, how many x's do I have altogether? 8 plus 2? That's right, it's 10. So on this side I have 10 x's. But also remember, my friends, that these, here we go, these are like terms. I like to call them naked numbers. That's what I called them last year because they don't have variables with them. So I have a -1 and a -9. Remember, you got to carry the sign in front of every number we see. So remember, combine means add, right? So a -1 plus combined with a -9, if you remember your integer rules, you will realize that that is a -10. Basically, -1 plus -9 equals -10. -1 combined with -9 equals -10. So that -10 we just place right here. So that's what takes care of that side of the street. Okay? And then I simply just bring down what's on this side. Alright, so again, my job is to get x by itself. I'm first going to do the adding subtracting part, which is this. I see a -10, so do the opposite of what you see. That cancels out, which was the point. Bring down your 10x equals 180 plus 10 is 190. Remember, x is still not by itself, so what is it that I need to do? I need to divide by 10. Correct. Divide by 10. How do I know I'm dividing by 10? Simple. Because any number right next to a letter means multiply, so do the opposite of what we see would be to divide. Trying to squeeze that in there. By 10. What you do to one side of the street, you must do to the other. Because what happens is, this is 1. I'll put it over here. 1, x, 10. We'll go to 190. 19 times. So this is what we have for our answer. 1x equals 19. But remember, 1s are invisible, so you just kind of take that out. So really what it's telling us is x equals 19. You are done. And now that you know that x equals 19, you can substitute in your equation. 8 times x, which is 8 times what? 19. Don't forget to -1. So really, what I really have is 19 times 8. 19 times 8 is 152 minus 1. Your correct answer for here is 151 for this side of the angle. Now let's do this side. 2 times x, which is 19. So 2 times 19 minus 9. First do your 2 times 19. 2 times 19, that was 38. Minus 9 is 29. So altogether this is 29. Okay, how do I know if I'm correct? Because remember, we're trying to reach how many degrees? 180. So if this angle is 151 and this angle actually equals to 29, add them together, you should get 180. Try it. 29 plus 151. Oh my goodness, magically it equals 180. You are done. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I will do 4. I think I did that one in class. I will do 5. And then I will do 7. And then that means 6 and 9 will be for you on your own. But this video only has 1 minute left on it, so I'm going to stop it here. And then part 2, I'm going to do 4, 5, and 7. See you then.